Yesterday morning, I came across this New York Times article, EPA to limit science used to write public health rules. And I was like, WTF. And I had more coffee and I read the title again, EPA to limit science used to write public health rules. The title implies that public health rules, whatever they are, were once created on the basis of science, and that makes sense. So why would the EPA now want to limit the amount of science required to create a public health rule? So off I went down the internet rabbit hole, and I thought I'd better check a few sources and see if there are other perspectives, because I know our president has made people hate and mistrust the New York Times, which I have deep respect for, by the way. So I went for a source right down the middle, so I'm not accused of being a liberal socialist. So I Googled NPR and EPA, and this is what I came up with. After the top two, it starts this past September. EPA confirms agency is changing water policy. So they're rolling back Obama-era regulations that protected wetlands and streams from pollution. That sucks. Then here's one from a week ago. Trump administration proposes relaxing rules on waste from coal plants.
We've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal.
This past October, EPA proposes new regulations for lead in drinking water. Here's August. EPA aims to roll back limits on methane emissions from oil and gas industry. And here's March. EPA science panel considering guidelines that upend basic air pollution science. And that reminded me of why I started this whole depressing journey when I was looking for something to corroborate this Times article about limiting science in public health. This article was different. They wanted to limit science in the determination of safe air pollution levels. Not just that, but they also want to limit the types of studies that can be done during the regulatory process. I'm not sure exactly what the regulatory process is, but I'm not quite sure why you would limit studies, but I see what they're doing. These articles go on for pages and pages, and this is just me using NPR and EPA to search. Very clearly, Trump is boarding up the windows of government agencies. Did you know that the head of our Environmental Protection Agency is a former coal lobbyist named Andrew Wheeler? You really should Google him. But yes, Trump has hired the equivalent of a serial killer to babysit our environment. In January of 2017, Trump issued an executive order mandating that for every one regulation a federal agency issued, 2 regulations needed to be cut. How do you cut regulations when there is science and scientists telling you not to? Very easy. You get rid of the science and the scientists, and then you convince as many Americans as possible that regulations are bad and they're only wanted by socialists who want the government to run everything. We have to stop believing this polarizing bullshit, because now the regulations are gone and soon it looks like the science and the scientists are going to be gone. Are we curious? What does lead in water do to us, or the effect of waste from coal plants, or methane emissions? We won't know because the Trump administration is limiting the science at the same time they're killing the regulations that used to protect us. I'm not an environmentalist at all, but we all need to wake up and smell the corruption. Things are so broken, and I'm pleading with all of you to choose country over party, state over party, choose planet over profits, and let's start getting curious and stop being angry at each other. I'm Gina Fant-Simon, and I should have called this the 3 or 4 minute take. Thank you for paying attention.